Big black Shalom L'Chaim, purified drinking water. Families that brought us this. There's war in their country, down the street from their home. They being slaughtered and all that in their own homes. It's crazy. It's the Israel war. So, to my friends out there, stay strong. I'm drinking it. They got it. It's up there. Y'all get this video, man. Y'all see this video. I want y'all to stay strong out there.
The clock has started ticking toward the onset of the Third World Conflict. Time has begun to tick. Many people in their immediate vicinity held out hope that the situation would improve, but it was abundantly evident that this was not going to take place anytime soon. Finally, but certainly not least, Israeli aircraft carried out airstrikes against two airports located within Syria. The 7th of October marked the beginning of the resumption of hostilities in the Middle East. Both Hamas and Hezbollah, which are both considered to be terrorist organizations, have sent troops into Israeli territory. As a result of the rocket and missile attacks, a great number of innocent individuals lost their lives. On the other hand, rumors that are just now beginning to make their way into newsrooms indicate that the Israeli government has begun an attack on Syria that has the potential to quickly ignite a full-scale war. After some time had passed, Israel issued a statement in which it stated that the defense systems of the country that had been the target of the Israeli air attack had been activated. The event has given rise to rumors and conjecture regarding the possibility of war breaking out between Israel and Syria. Recently, there has been a rise in the level of animosity that exists between the two countries. Others continue to harbor the hope that Iran will launch an attack against Syria. After rounds fired by Syria started falling in open areas close to the village of Ramat Magshamim on the Golan Heights, the Israeli army made an announcement that they had reacted with artillery and mortar fire. A Palestinian organization is said to have launched 3 rockets into Israeli territory from within Syrian territory, according to sources in southern Syria. There is a growing fear that the violence could spiral out of control and turn into a full-scale war. Israel is now involved in 2 separate conflicts, one with the Palestinian Islamic Resistance Movement, also known as Hamas, in Gaza, and another with Hezbollah in Lebanon, although the latter conflict is on a much more localized scale. In accordance with a statement released by the Israeli military, fire was initiated toward a launch source in Syria. In spite of the fact that there is a dearth of information, it would appear that this most recent turn of events did not result in any damage or casualties. Even if the ground operation of Israel, which blockaded Gaza in response to strikes by Hamas, is expected, the entire international community is concerned about the potential that Gaza would be completely wiped off the face of the earth. Due to the embargo that the Israeli army has placed on the territory, the situation in Gaza has reached a point of crisis as a direct result of Hamas attacks on Israeli cities and the accompanying buildup of Israeli forces on the border. As the number of fatalities climbs in Israel and Gaza, the Israeli military has issued a warning that the level of violence will grow. In the next few days, tough images will emerge from Gaza, according to the Israeli army, and Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus has corroborated this information. While tens of thousands of Israeli soldiers are waiting for orders to commence an operation near the Gaza border, the Israeli Air Force is continuing to launch attacks on the area. It is thought that Hamas conducts its planning and execution of operations in the Al-Furqan neighborhood of Gaza, which was the target of dozens of attacks by Israeli fighter jets. The region is home to over 200 different locations. The home of Mohammed Deif, a senior military leader for Hamas, was the target of an overnight bombing in Khan Yunis. It was the second home in Khan Yunis to be targeted by the attack. It has been reported that 2,687 targets in the Gaza Strip have been struck since Saturday, with 1,329 of the targets being multi-story structures housing Hamas members. According to reports, the number of Israelis murdered as a result of Hamas strikes grew to 1,200. Reports indicate that the majority of those killed were members of the general public. On the other hand, the Palestinian Ministry of Health reports that there have been 1,100 fatalities as a result of the air strikes against Gaza. It is generally agreed upon that Gaza's most pressing issue right now is the shortage of dependable sources of electricity. As a direct consequence of Israel's total blockade of the area, the sole power plant in the area was forced to cease its production of electricity yesterday at noon. From this point forward, the only way to keep the area supplied with electricity will be through generators. It is unknown how much longer the generators can operate while being continuously refueled, hence, it is a wonder how long they can continue to operate. The catastrophic state of affairs in Gaza has been brought to light once more by satellite photographs. People in the area have taken to social media to appeal for assistance, alleging that numerous buildings have collapsed, enclosing a large number of people inside and making it impossible for rescuers to reach them. An officer in the Israeli Defense Ministry was quoted by the British Daily Mail as saying that Gaza will become a tent city, and Hamas will raze every building to the ground in retaliation for terrorist attacks. It seems likely that Israel will continue its strategy of targeting a wide variety of civilian and military targets, given that Israel's objective is to inflict significant damage on Hamas. This intention has led Israel to say that it intends to do so. Shelling can be heard coming from Gaza while there is also action close to the border with Lebanon. Iran's ally, the terrorist group Hezbollah, launched a precision-guided missile attack on Israeli military positions early on Wednesday morning from southern Lebanon. The Israeli military asserted that it carried out retaliatory strikes against Lebanese territory, and the media in Lebanon that is controlled by the government reported that 2 cities had been completely obliterated. As Israeli and Hamas forces have been fighting each other for the 3rd day in a row, there have also been ongoing strikes coming from inside Lebanon. The situation in Gaza have deteriorated as a direct result of Israel's total siege of the territory there. Experts from the United Nations have referred to the siege as collective punishment, and it is very likely that it will cause severe famines. According to Fabrizio Carboni, regional director of the International Committee for Human Rights, in the darkest hours of our presence in Gaza, we never envisaged a scenario in which 2 million civilians would be subjected to heavy bombardment and deprived of water, food, electricity, and medicine. During the time that the International Committee for Human Rights was present in Gaza, Carboni made this statement. According to Fabrizio Carboni, who is the one who made this assertion, Palestinian journalist Ghada Cord told HuffPost that the moment she landed in Gaza, she felt as though she had woken up in the middle of a nightmare. She claimed that the dead remains of humans, dogs, and cats that she witnessed lying on the ground in Gaza after the Israeli bombing were so horrible that she was unable to withstand the stink of the area. It has been reported by the United Nations that they will not be able to give food rations to about 500,000 people through the United Nations Relief and Works Agency this week as a result of the substantial population displacement that has been caused by the attacks on Gaza. As a result of the attacks, the international charity Oxfam estimates that 400,000 people in Gaza do not have access to clean drinking water and have inadequate sanitation. The images captured in Israeli cities located close to the Gaza border stunned the entire nation. After photographs taken at the Kfar Aza kibbutz were shown in the media, people all throughout Israel experienced a rising sense of outrage. Images suggest that terrorists with ties to Hamas were responsible for a major slaughter, in which a disproportionately high number of women and children were among those killed. Even before it was known that some of the victims had their heads cut off, images of the lifeless infants generated great indignation in Israel. Some of the victims had their heads cut off. According to a statement that was made public by the Israeli military, around 40 bodies of children, some of which had their heads chopped off, were discovered.